Okay, good evening. So it is December 1st, and I want to record something really cute. So my in-laws, my father-in-law and mother-in-law, Dave and Heidi McNamee, gifted me this. It is a Marvel Advent calendar, right? Look at that gorgeous cover. Um, and I actually just finished reading or opening the first, like the day one, and it's a little comic book, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. I kind of want to like save it, right? So that's what I'm gonna do that I'm gonna record each day. So here's the calendar here, and day one. I mean, you can see there, day one is Loki. So let's check out what Loki has to say to us. So this is Loki. Okay. Uh, the back says someone is interfering with Loki's plans. Can he find a way to make them stop? And then it's enemy number one. Right. So Loki. So I was telling you, like it's a cute little comic book. I thought it was really cute. So kind of wanna treasure it. So it starts. Hello, I know this calendar has a lot of stories in it, but this is the only one you really need. It is, after all, about the greatest hero of all time. Me, Loki. What story should I tell you? I have so many good ones. There's the time I humiliated Thor, the time I beat all of the Avengers, maybe the time I beat up the Hulk? Wait, I know. What's a good hero without a great enemy? I'll tell you the story of my greatest foe, a real dastardly villain. So it's Loki there, smug as always. Right. Once upon a time, giant wolves with terrible teeth and claws like knives attacked the lands outside of Asgard. Things had gotten so bad that a group of Asgard's greatest hunters were gathering to go out and hunt the wolves. My brother Thor, being more brave than bright, wanted to join them, but they told him he was too young. You're the Prince of Asgard, I told him. You don't need their permission. Let's go together, brother, and win the glory for ourselves. Thor agreed, and so we went. Little babyface Thor, and those are the hunters. On the way, I had the best idea for a prank. I replaced Thor's sword with a trick sword that would break as soon as he started fighting. The wolves would almost certainly eat him. It should have been a great joke. Then she had to come along and ruin everything. We found this farm girl with long blonde hair fighting the wolves with a stick. Of course, Thor just had to help her. Just so you know, I didn't know who this character was at first. The blonde hair kind of threw me off. My plan worked perfectly. As soon as Thor hit one of the wolves with his sword, the whole blade shattered. He would have been helpless. Except here came that girl with her stick. First, she defended him. Then they started working together. Thor asked me to help, so I had to pretend. I threw a fireball that went sailing off into the sky, nowhere near the wolves. Imagine my surprise when the hunters from Asgard saw it and came to save us. Oh, joy. I was annoyed, but at least I would never see this farm girl again. Right? Wrong. It turns out she's actually a lady of Asgard. Her name was Sif, and she was the worst. To make matters worse, Thor wouldn't stop talking about her. It was always Sif this and flowing golden locks that. The only thing more obnoxious than my brother Thor is my brother Thor in love. Gross. Thor and Sif started hanging out all the time. Pretty soon she was putting ideas in his head. I'm sure Loki has your best interest in mind, Thor, she would say. But roasting marshmallows on Surtur sounds dangerous. Wouldn't you rather spar with me? She was doing it on purpose. She was interfering with all my plans. I had to find a way to make her stop. Surtur, by the way, is he's like a demon god from Muspelheim. So he's like, flaming body and stuff. So that's why the, roasting marshmallows on his head would be a bad idea. Being the genius I am, I had the perfect plan. In the middle of the night, I would use magic to steal every strand of that beautiful golden hair Thor loves so much. Then I'd sneak away. Neither Sif nor Thor would ever suspect me. Once Thor stops spending all his time with her, I can go back to trying to maroon him with frost giants. It almost worked too. On the way out, I must have made a noise, because all I heard was a roar like a wild animal, and Sif catapulted across the room in no time. She tackled me in the middle of the room. I was so surprised I couldn't even defend myself. She pinned me down and started yelling. Why did you do this? I've been nothing but nice to you. Her voice was ear-splitting. The diabolical Loki. And here's Loki getting tackled by a bald Sif. Thor was the first one to come running. He tried to save me from the bald attacker, but when he saw that it was Sif, he stopped. Our mom and dad, Freya and Odin, rushed in next. Sif told them what had happened. I can replace it, I yelled, hoping that would get her off of me. Very well, said Odin. You have 1 day to replace Sif's hair, or I shall grant her her revenge. Thing is, making something reappear is a lot harder than making it disappear. So it's Odin and Thor, Mother Freya. Not Mother Freya, sorry. Freya's a warrior. And then bald Sif and Loki on the ground, helpless. No, Freya? Freya's Thor's mom? I thought she had a different name. Anyway, that's not, whatever. Moving on. I didn't know where one can get a head full of hair. So I figured I'd try the dwarves of Nidavellir. Dwarves can make anything. They're also very rude. I tried all of the top smiths, and they all said they were too busy to work with a trickster. So I took one last shot at the dwarf I knew was the second best smith. At first he refused, until I said, I heard you were the second best smith. I know what that's like. I've been Odin's second best son my whole life. Maybe if we work together, we can both be the best today. That got his attention. He started working right away. Yeah, Freya is not his mom. His mom is a Frigga. Freya's the lead Valkyrie, right? I'm gonna have to look up my Norse mythology again. Wouldn't you know it, a few hours later he had made a crown with a head full of blonde hair. He handed it to me, saying, all you need to do is place this on their head and they'll have a full head of blonde hair again. Now, about my payment. I didn't say anything about payment. I laughed, snapped my fingers, and disappeared. What a chump. When I got home, I called for a little ceremony so that all of the gods could appreciate my genius and see Sif's shiny head. I placed the beautiful crown on Sif's head, saying, I, Loki, Prince of Asgard and God of Mischief, humbly apologize to you, Lady Sif, for taking your hair. To make amends, I replace it with this finely crafted crown and hair. Unfortunately, the dwarven smith had enchanted the crown, knowing that I might betray him. Since I had not paid him, since I had not paid, Siv's golden locks turned raven black. Honestly, I thought she looked better this way. I've always been partial to dark hair. She was not so happy and tried to stab me, but Odin stopped her. Loki swore he would replace your hair, and he has. There was no promise made about the color of the hair. Odin's voice boomed. She couldn't stab me, but Sif pulled me close and said, I'll see to it that you're never trusted again. No matter what you do, I'll stop you. So if you read this far, you probably already guessed who my greatest villain is. Who did you guess? So that's Sif with black hair. For the record, that's how I knew the character. So the blonde hair really threw me off in the beginning. Who is his greatest enemy? That's right. It's me. I'm my own worst enemy. I learned that day that if you're going to play pranks, you shouldn't break anything you can't fix. A good trickster always needs to think 2 steps ahead. Sif in the background with her fist like about to body his ass. And that's day 1. So I'm going to be doing this every day until we get to the end. And if you sat through this, hope you enjoyed it.